Well, hello YouTube, and here is something a little old and unusual, well, considering what's usually on my channel. It's not that unusual, but it's old. Definitely a lot older than a lot of the stuff that I have. This is a Monroe high-speed something calculator. I can't read what's on the label because it's kind of worn. Anyway, if you saw my last video of the General Electric motor, then this is what that motor is from. Unfortunately, as I said in the last video, the motor doesn't work. I don't remember how it was wired. Anyway, so let's take a look at this thing. This is a mechanical masterpiece, I guess you could say. Looking at it, it looks like a standard old-fashioned adding machine, where you hit the keys, pull the crank, and you get your paper spit out. Well, as you can see, this doesn't have any paper. This has a mechanical digit readout, and let's see if I can scoot it up here so I can actually turn the actuator for the motor. I've been working on this thing. I'll show you in a little bit all the crap that poured out of it when I opened it up. I don't remember where I got this. As I said in the last video, it was sometime around like 2002. But anyway, it like some of the linkages were completely seized up in it, and it didn't work at all. I think it had mice or squirrels or something living in it at some point. Don't know where it came from. Forget where I bought it. I got it somewhat working. It's still a little flaky. I unfortunately lost some of the buttons here. Well, two of them are not the original buttons. Two of the 0 buttons that were on it don't really fit, and as you can see, the 0s are sideways and they're smaller than the other buttons. But those two, well, one of them cracked, the other one just came off. And where is it here? The non-repeat button kind of broke. As you can see, it says stupid camera, non-repeat, and it cracked when I was taking it apart. But I would assume that this one was here, non-repeat, and this one here would be repeat. And all that does is clear. When you hit the when you hit your function key, either adding or subtracting. Oh, there goes the furnace. I hope you can still hear me. Anyway, when you hit your function key, adding or subtracting, when you have it set on non-repeat, it clears all the buttons. All the buttons pop back up. If you have it on, which would assumably be labeled as repeat, when you hit your function key and it runs through its sequence, the buttons stay pressed down. That would be useful if you were adding, like, if you have a certain amount of I don't know, say you're adding a certain figures and like 20 of them are $10, so you would punch in 10 or $15. You'd punch in 1, 5, and then the two red keys, or the red keys are the 0 keys, or clear keys. You really don't have to actually punch anything in for a 0 on this, but if it suits you, you can press the, as these red keys are 0 to here. I don't know what these are off of, but anyway, but say you have $15 and like 20 of them, you would hit the non-repeat and just keep hitting your function key until you're done with that, then go back to non-repeat and finish punching in your the rest of your figures. Anyway, yeah, so a couple cool things about this is it's, well, you can't see it here. There's this knob on the front, and what that does is it moves the entire figurehead back and forth. And I didn't count that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 digits. As you can see, this goes up to 16 digits it can add up to. Now, I don't know if you have it all the way over like this. I don't know if you get up to, because it only has 8 digits as far as the keypad goes. If you get to, what would it be? Depending on if you're saying a decimal as a decimal or not, 9,999,999.99. Let's just say we're doing dollars, which is primarily what calculators would have been used for back in the day. If you get up past that, I don't know if it automatically ticks over, or when you get to that, you have to manually flip it over like that to your next digit. Something I have to play with when I actually get the thing working. From playing with it, as far as I can tell, that's your bottom register. This is actually what your total is right here in these windows. This top window is the number of calculations that you've completed, and the guide bar, this thing, it's not together right now, it's half taken apart, but it's got this little crank on the side. Now, a normal adding machine would have your crank to advance your, you'd crank it or just pull it back to perform your function. Like you'd hit 555 and then you'd hit your add key and then crank, or 32 and hit your add key and crank. Okay, so okay, I really hate this camera. This is still my little point and shoot camera, because I ramble on and it uses up the memory and it just stops recording. It doesn't beep, it doesn't do anything. So I ran out of memory there. Didn't run out of memory, it just stops recording after 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Anyway, so you've got like your normal adding machine. You have a crank to pull back, like you do 69 plus and then crank, and then 42 and crank, and it spits out your tape. Well, this doesn't have a tape, as you can see. It's got the yeah, that thing, whatever you call it, your head bar or whatever. And but this little crank on the side, it resets it. And if I can move the camera so it's not actually in my way when I'm trying to turn the crank here. Well, it's going to be in my way no matter what, but you turn it clockwise and it resets the top counter. Oh, and this stupid pin came out again. Anyway, as you can see, that's turning that. And how this counts is it's starts 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then another 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 0. 1 and 0. Now actually I think that's backwards. It would, because you're spinning it in the opposite direction, it would be turning to reset it. So the red numbers are actually counting down. The black numbers are counting up. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. But anyway, you turn that to reset that one. You turn it the other way to reset the bottom one, your main counter. And that just has your normal 9 digits. Pull these little tabs back. This flips up. Purpose, I don't know. Oiling, possibly, who knows. But that's some of your mechanicals, and we'll get further into that in a bit. But anyway, some of our controls here. Got a switch, bell, on, off. Playing with this thing, it has yet to sound the bell, so I'm not sure when that is for. But when you switch it to on, it's on, and when you switch it to off, it actually has a little damper that comes up and taps the bell. Plus minus key is obvious. What was it? Repeat and non-repeat. Normally it would be on your non-repeat, which is the top one. What this little tab down in here is for, I have no idea. But anyway, clear, whoops, panel. Clear key is obvious. Obviously your number keypad, it's kind of obvious what that does. There's this little arrow key. This little rotary, it's like spring-loaded. It points to the left or it points to the right. What it does, I have no clue. Yeah. And then you've also got these little rotary indicators here that just, and this one's a little bit sticky, but anyway, you can see the other ones. But they just flip over, no mechanical connection whatsoever. I guess it's just a reference for decimal points or 0 points or something like that. Like you would, if you're doing money or something like that, you'd flip all those over and that's your decimal point or something like that. That's just my guess. Anyway, let's take this thing apart and see what's inside. Alright, first off, as you could see, well, here's another control. Is this little knob on the bottom that flips the head back and forth. And every time we scoot it back over to that side, the holding rod comes out because I don't have the screw in it. So that's going to be the first part of the teardown. Is that little holding rod. So let's yank that out, and the head comes right off. And you can see the mechanicals inside there, the number wheels and such as that. Pretty simple. It's a die-cast aluminum housing, pretty heavy, all gear, but you can see here how the gear works. In the one direction, turn it the other direction, it's got a little cam on there. I wonder, yeah, see, it's got like a kind of ratchet assembly in there somewhat. Okay, so that's off. Pull our little knob off the front here. There goes the furnace again, sorry. And that just slides off. And gotta push that up. If you can see in the background there, some of the crap that came out of it. Looks like a walnut shell, bunch of other crap. The springs and the feet obviously go with it, and the screws and stuff. But yeah. So anyway, try and see if we can get the cover off of here. It's easier said than done, because I think this little adjuster knob on the side here is supposed to come off too, but I cannot figure out how to get it off. So it's kind of a matter of, there we go. Actually, that came off easier than the first time. Anyway, this whole thing is enshrouded in this kind of fiber board sort of stuff. As you can see, it's broken off where it's hit the knob on the side here. The entire bottom had it on it too. I don't know if that's asbestos or what it is, but it's probably going to end up coming out of there, because if it's not, I don't see why it would be asbestos. I'm guessing it's just sort of sound dampening, which I don't care. It's a mechanical calculator. I want it to make noises. Anyway, and here's the base. You can see how kind of crusty it is. That's definitely going to need sandblasted and gone over again. But anyway, here is our calculator. And it's got a cast iron frame. This thing weighs a ton. Okay, this thing weighs a ton. Here's our drive right here, as you can see. And this is actually, it runs a very sort of basic transmission. As you can see, we've got planetary gears here that, well, actually it's going the wrong way. This is the way it would normally go. And we're engaged. Crap. Try to see if I can disengage it here, because I don't want it really running at this moment. Okay, this is the direction it goes. And we've got our little planetary gear set there. And how this works is when you hit add, it actually stops stops this outer ring, and it moves your gear train. As you can see, it's moving, well, if you can see when I push on that, it kind of moves the gear train. It's locked right now because it's not in actually operation mode. And when you hit negative or minus, it stops this other portion of it, and it actually spins the entire assembly in reverse. So it actually literally subtracts what you just added to it. It doesn't do it any mathematical way. It's all mechanical, as you can see. It actually just takes away by putting the entire mechanism in reverse. So let's see if we can do a demonstration here, sort of. Now obviously the head is not on. Well, actually I could probably put the head on here. Hold on a second. Alright, so I've got the head back on here. Now our motor's turning, which is just my finger in the background here. Let's see, we'll do something easy. 111 and plus. And the motor's turning, and it's clicking, and it's not engaging. Am I going the wrong way? No. There we go. As I said, this is... See, now I don't know why that 5 popped up over there, unless we had a 5 push down here that I didn't know about. Let's reset that and try that again. 111. And as you see, you can't push it because it's interlocked, because it thinks it's still running, because it doesn't align properly. So we turn this knob on the right side until we can actually hit the button. Which obviously this wouldn't work if the motor was on it. It would jam the motor. There we go. And I think I just cleared out the 1. Yeah, so we just had 11 clear. And it won't reset because it's still stuck somehow. Okay, hold on, I didn't put the screw back in this little knob in the front here that moves the head back and forth. See, I don't know why that's jamming like that. See, this is kind of, there we go. This whole head assembly, I've attempted to lubricate the main unit, but the head assembly is still kind of gunky yet. I haven't, whoops, just lost our screw. It's not the screw that actually goes in here though, it's just a little, I'm using it as a pin. As I said, I have no actual idea how this unit works. I think it's in the middle of a calculation as well, so it'd help if I pulled that back and reset that, and okay, our screw fell out again. Alright. But anyway, it's also got this little handle here that you can move it back and forth pretty quickly. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, it's doing something. And it counted up to 5 again. I don't know why it's doing that. And now it went back to 0. But as you can see, every revolution it makes, it's counting up by 1. And now it's okay, they're released. So let's reset 111, reset the top, and add. There we go. And we get 5, but we get 111. And we get 1 operation. Okay, so let's do this simple here. We'll go 36. 35 I hit instead. So it should come up with 146. It seems to overshoot its target. So we got 146. It's working. But why it's giving these extraneous digits there, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's got something to do with it or what. But as you can hear, it's clicking every time I'm turning over. And oh, now what did it do? Because it's engaging. It's not releasing it all the way. And as I said, it's still very stiff. Like, this whole thing has to be cleaned out and cleared out. I mean, I oiled it and I did the best I could at the moment. But anyway, okay, 146. So we'll add 40. We'll add 7 to it, so it should be 100 or should go up to 270. No, 216. It should go up to. Oh, and I didn't even have to hit anything. Wow. And there we go. It worked. And we got 6 operations going, and my finger is fucking killing me because I'm turning that little cog wheel with my thumb. Okay, anyway, let's show you the rest of the workings on this thing. Get the head back off of it, and yeah. Reset. Oh, and the top digit's not resetting, and the bottom one's jammed. I think it's because it's in the middle of an operation again. Again, don't know why it showed up 35 there. Okay, there we go. Reset and reset. Alright, flip that up, pop the head off. And we'll show you the gear train of the thing. And let's restart because we're almost out of. Okay, so here's the gear train of this sucker. This is the right hand side of it. And you've got this little knob. Apparently what that is for is if it probably, well, if it jams, you can adjust it. You can adjust the gear train manually a bit until it lets you back into perform an operation, because otherwise it locks the buttons out. Well, it locks the add button out. The subtract button doesn't seem to get locked out. But anyway, if you look at it closely, it actually has timing marks on it. I don't know if that shows up on the camera very well, but got timing marks here for these 2 gears, and here for these 2 gears, and here for this little gear and this gear. So anyway, let's take a look at the other side of it. I think I already showed you this, but this is a basic transmission on this side. Very simple planetary gear set. Open planetary gear set. Would need to be oiled fairly regularly. And it just stops it. It stops the outer ring gear to spin it in addition, and it stops the inner ring gear to spin it for subtraction. And this is the part that's being a pain in the ass. Yeah, it's this this lever right here is the one that was completely jammed. I've got it freed up, but still it doesn't seem to want to act, and the bell's in the way, so you can't really see. But there's a little, that is the shifter for the transmission. That's neutral, that's forward, and that's reverse. And it should normally be like that, and this lever moves up and down. If this will get kicked to forward when you add, kick to reverse when you subtract, and after it's done with the operation, this arm is supposed to come up and kick it back into neutral, like that or like that. But the problem is this arm only comes up about this far and stops, and then the transmission just sits here clicking as it goes around, because it's half grabbing onto the cog and half not. So yeah, I'm still playing with it a bit. I don't want to tear the entire thing apart. No idea what model this is, no idea what year this is from, but there is, you can see, and this thing weighs a ton, there's a A15762 on it. So whether it's from 1957, I'm not sure, but that's the only number markings I can find on the thing. And if we take a look at this front case here, Monroe high-speed something calculator. I can't tell what that's supposed to read because it's too worn off and I can't really... High speed, yeah, I don't know. As you see on the back, Monroe Calculating Company, Monroe Calculating Machine Company, New York, USA, and this is either an this is either an inspected by sticker or refurbished by sticker. Refurb by Monroe. I can't. It's too worn off. It's just an old school, old style decal. So, but this is a cast aluminum. Doesn't sound like cast aluminum because it's got this fiber padding on the inside. But whatever that is, it's probably coming out. But yeah, there we go. Future videos on this, and yeah, wish me luck. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, it's got this little wire coming out here that goes onto that oddball plug you saw on the motor. It sits in there and it just goes up in there like that. Well, like that. And it's got a contact down here in the corner, which I don't have the slightest clue what it does. It's connected all the time. Through addition, through subtraction, it's always the contacts are closed. So, not sure what that is supposed to be for. Perhaps maybe this little knob on the side is supposed to be an on-off knob. I don't know. I really don't know. As I mentioned on the video, the motor video, I can't find any information on it at all, and I haven't seemed to be able to find any information out on this either. So yeah, if anybody's got any information, suggestions, comments, whatever, post, subscribe, and thanks for watching.